It's Friday again, and that means it's time for another edition of Fantasy Insider Weekend Picks. This is the Draftstars edition of the video, and there's just the 2 games for each sport this week, and next week of course, so then it's time for the grand final. So we're really hoping for a strong finish to the season with our Team of the Week selections. Let's start in the AFL, where the bookies originally had 10.5 point favourites in both games, with Hawthorn and Sydney favoured. This morning though, we've seen some big money come in on Adelaide, and as we're recording this, Sydney are favoured by just 7.5 in that one. The total was only 10 points higher in that Sydney-Adelaide game, otherwise they're fairly close. So I think the effect of the totals is going to be pretty marginal when it comes to entering teams for those double contests. There's a real mix of players in our Draftstars Team of the Week, which I think is reflective of how close the games are. Perhaps the most interesting selection is Toby Nankervis at Luck, who's come in to replace Kurt Tippett for Sydney, and I think he's a decent selection at under 10,000. In the forwards, Jared Lyons and Whitecross present some good upside, I think, without risking too much of our salary cap, while we're spending in the midfields in this lineup with Matt Crouch, Lewis, Bontempelli and Dunkley, hopefully a fairly steady set of selections. In defence, Sean Burgoyne is complemented by Aliir, who I think is still a bargain in my opinion. In the NRL, the bookies have the Cowboys as 6-point favourites over the Broncos in that grand final rematch, while Canberra are favoured by just 1.5 over Penrith. Both games are total within a couple of points at 36 and 38 respectively, so there's not really a ton of information to be taken from the bookies there. At Draftstars, again, we have a bit of a mix in this lineup. Outside of the selections that we've been peddling for weeks now, such as Nathan Cleary and Matt Half, we have Wallace at hooker. In the forwards, we're going to take 2 from Brisbane with Josh Maguire and Jared Wallace, alongside Whitehead and Tomalalo in the second row. Rapana and Mansour provide 2 strong scoring options in the wings, as do Lalero and Croker in the centres. I love this lineup for cash games this week. I think it spreads the risk really well amongst the matches and the teams involved. And that's it for another week. There's some really good tournaments around this weekend, so check those out, and whatever you're playing, we wish you the best of luck. If you want our full projections, you can get them for just $5 for a week of projections on the website, so check fantasyinsider.com.au for the details. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the leaderboards.